Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. Hope you're all well. Hope you've had a good day so far. You work at the local superstore. You're a well-respected employee and you've worked there for about 17 years. And during that time, you've seen the local scroats come in and out of the shop, stealing stuff off the shelves willy-nilly and nothing's done about it. Until one day, you decide you're going to stop it. Stay tuned to see what happens next.
For a guy called Walker Smith, who until last week was employed by Waitrose. He'd worked for Waitrose at Clapham in South London at their branch there for 17 years. Got summarily dismissed because how dare he? He decided to try to stop a shoplifter who was trying to run out with a bag full of lint Easter eggs, quite expensive Easter eggs. Yeah, apparently Walker had seen this guy do this every day, always nicking stuff every day. He thought, I'm going to stop him. So he goes to stop him. There's a little altercation. Walker grabs hold of the bag of eggs. The guy runs out. Walker's a little bit frustrated because the guy's escaped, so he grabs one of the eggs, chucks it against a shopping trolley in frustration, in anger, and he got fired for that.
It's long enough to see colleagues become friends and a job become a second home. And for 17 years, Walker Smith was a loyal employee at Waitrose. In his own words, the people he worked with were like family. But after nearly 2 decades of service, that loyalty was rewarded with a termination notice. And his crime? Trying to stop a thief from walking out with a bag full of chocolate Easter eggs. Now, this is the story of how one man's moment of frustration set against a backdrop of rising crime cost him the job he loved. After 17 years of service, Walker Smith was not rewarded for his dedication. He was sacked for confronting a shoplifter. The 54-year-old was a familiar face at the Waitrose in Clapham Junction, South London. He wasn't a manager or a security guard, just a dedicated shop assistant who had been part of the store's daily life for 17 years. You don't see that kind of loyalty in retail stores anymore. It speaks to a level of commitment that's hard to find. And for Smith, it was simple. He loved his job and the community it gave him. As he later put it, I was there for 17 years. I must have been doing something right. He described himself as not being a violent or aggressive person. His life was deeply intertwined with the store. It was his routine, and it was where his friends were. The incident that cost him everything started over a few chocolate bunnies. As Smith went about his day, a customer told him a man was brazenly filling a bag with expensive lint gold bunny Easter eggs, each valued at about £13. Now, Smith knew the suspect on sight. He was a repeat offender he'd seen targeting the store before. And in that moment, something inside him snapped. For 5 years, Smith said he had watched helplessly as theft became a daily reality. I've seen it happen every hour of every day for the last 5 years, he explained. He described a constant stream of people walking out with goods completely unchallenged. The store had even scaled back its security, leaving employees like him on the front line. Company policy was crystal clear: do not intervene. Alert a manager, call security, but never ever confront a shoplifter. But on this day, the policy felt less like a safety measure and more like a free pass for criminals. Fed up, Smith acted. He approached the man and grabbed the bag of stolen chocolates. A brief struggle followed. The thief snatched the bag back, and the force of the tug-of-war ripped it open, sending the golden bunnies crashing to the floor. The thief ran off, leaving the mess behind. A wave of pure frustration washed over Smith. He picked up a piece of broken chocolate bunny and threw it towards a nearby set of empty shopping trolleys, not at the man who had fled. It was a gesture of sheer helplessness. He immediately regretted it, went to his manager and apologised, hoping his long service and the frustrating context would be understood. But he was wrong. Initially, his manager gave him a reprimand. Smith went home that night filled with regret, even punching himself and thinking, why did I do that? He held on to the hope that 17 years of spotless service would mean something. A few days later, that hope was gone. He was called into a meeting with two managers. I had a feeling about what was going to happen, he recounted. The decision was final. He was being dismissed for gross misconduct. He had broken the company's number one rule by engaging with a shoplifter. In its defence, Waitrose stood by its safety first policy. The company stated, "The safety and security of our partners and customers couldn't be more important to us." They pointed to past incidents where employees had been hospitalised while challenging thieves, declaring, "Nothing we sell is worth risking lives for." They argued that these strict policies were essential to prevent a tragedy. Waitrose also suggested that media reports didn't cover the full facts of the situation, but, citing privacy, refused to say any more. For Smith, the corporate logic was a cold betrayal. He wasn't trying to be a hero. He was a frustrated man at his breaking point. After 17 years, he wasn't treated like a person, but like a liability. He tried to stay strong as they gave him the news. But the final insult came when he was escorted off the premises, not through the front door he'd used for almost 2 decades, but out the back by the bins. "I just felt demoralised," he said. When the story broke in the media, it ignited a firestorm of public outrage. People were shocked that a company like Waitrose would discard a 17-year veteran for protecting its property. A GoFundMe page launched to support Smith quickly raised over £4,000 from strangers who felt he'd been wronged, with the organisers saying he had simply tried to do the right and noble thing. On his Facebook page, Smith's focus was painfully practical. "My priority is getting a job," he said. The backlash wasn't just from the public. Politicians from different parties weighed in. The Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, wrote a blistering letter to Waitrose's managing director calling the sacking disgracefully wrong. He demanded that Smith not only be reinstated, but also be given a bonus for his bravery and initiative. Philp argued that firing an employee in these circumstances sends the wrong message, punishing those who act while criminals go unchecked. Walker Smith's story isn't just a one-off incident. It shines a light on a huge problem facing retail today. The clash between corporate responsibility and a growing crime wave. Shoplifting is surging across the UK, with offences near record highs. This leaves retail workers in an impossible spot. They are on the front line, but are explicitly told not to intervene for safety and liability reasons. Companies like Waitrose argue their policies are vital to protect staff from violence. From a legal standpoint, stolen chocolate is a manageable loss. An injured employee can lead to unpredictable and expensive lawsuits. The "nothing we sell is worth risking lives for" policy is a calculated risk management strategy. But does this policy, no matter how well intended, accidentally create a space where theft is almost encouraged? A place where repeat offenders know that staff are forbidden from stopping them. It leaves local employees like Walker Smith feeling powerless, watching their employer's property walk out the door every single day. His action wasn't a calculated risk, it was a human reaction to an impossible situation. He wasn't just protecting chocolate, he was defending his workplace. Now, this case raises some tough questions. Where do we draw the line between employee safety and enabling crime? Should 17 years of loyal service be wiped out by a single frustration-fueled mistake? And what does it say when a company punishes an employee for the basic instinct to protect what they care about? We want to know what you think. Was Waitrose right to fire him, or was this a betrayal of a long-serving employee? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. 17 years of service undone in a single moment of frustration. Walker Smith, a man who gave nearly 2 decades of his life to a company, was led out the back door by the bins. His loyalty seemed forgotten. His story has become a symbol of modern dilemma, the clash between cold corporate policy and the human desire for respect. While Waitrose stands by its decision on the grounds of safety, the public and politicians have overwhelmingly sided with the man they see as a victim of a broken crime system. While Waitrose stands by its decision on the grounds of safety, the public and politicians have overwhelmingly sided with the man they see as a victim of a broken system. Walker Smith is now focused on finding a new job, but his case leaves us all with a lingering question. In a world of corporate protocols and rising crime, what is loyalty really worth? Now, a final thought here. The police and the supermarket have equal responsibility for this situation. The police, because they hardly view shoplifting as a crime anymore and will not turn out for any sort of shoplifting unless the goods taken have amounted to more than £200. And the supermarket, because they know their goods have been stolen every day and yet are prepared to let it continue. The bottom line is that now all the local scroats living near to a Waitrose now know that they can take anything they want from the shop and nothing will be done to stop them. And of course, it's the local shoppers who pay the price for this crime wave, with higher prices as the supermarkets attempt to recoup the money lost to shoplifting. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please do become a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button below. Hope you can join us for the next video. Take care of yourselves and we'll see you again soon.